My name's Phill White. I became an entrepreneur about 10 years ago now when I decided to quit my job and start a sustainable mushroom farm when I was in Australia. That's not how you should start a business. I lost all my life savings doing that. But that started me on my journey to be an entrepreneur, taking that leap from working full-time into bootstrapping my own business. The first successful business that I founded was called CloudCycle. And CloudCycle is on a mission to reduce 1% of global CO2 by providing a solution for the concrete industry that manages and tests concrete in a more efficient way to avoid the 5% of concrete that is currently wasted on the planet. And that business is now doing very well and scaling through Series A. I'm no longer full-time in that business. I'm now a full-time venture builder for a major client in the Middle East, building some super exciting companies. I became an entrepreneur as a little bit of an early midlife crisis. I turned 30, I had some life savings, but I was kind of enjoying my career, but I wasn't passionate about it. And at this time, a lot of people were starting to talk about sustainability and the problems in the world. And I thought to myself, I must be able to have an impact through business on the planet. And that's where I started my first business, which was a sustainable mushroom farm at Sydney Airport, where we actually took the coffee waste from Sydney Airport and grew mushrooms on it. It was a great learning curve for me. It wasn't scalable enough or profitable enough or any of the things you want a business to be, but it was the first step on my entrepreneurial journey. And like they always say, you learn more from failures than from your successes. And I certainly learned more from that business than anything else did. When that business failed, I knew that I wanted to create a business that had scalable impact, and that meant looking at technology. I started to look at different types of technology and how we could apply them to waste streams. And that's when I really had the epiphany that in order for me to solve problems in a major industry, it has to be the industry that I know, which was construction, because I spent my entire career within construction. And that's where CloudCycle was born. I discovered that 5% of all concrete globally is wasted, and that concrete is 10% of global CO2. And it's the second most used material on the planet behind water. So that 5% represents gigatons of CO2, as well as massive amounts of money that the industry is losing. And that is the starting point for where we wanted to solve for with CloudCycle. The main thing that you need to be an entrepreneur is grit and determination and tenacity. I did okay at school, wasn't super smart. And I remember when me and my co-founder first went into our first accelerator program, we felt quite intimidated because my co-founder dropped out of school. I had kind of an average degree from an average university, but we are one of the few companies that is still alive today out of that cohort of people. And that makes us proud because we dug our feet in and we just stuck to our task. And we also found a real problem worth solving. And the other really important thing you need to be an entrepreneur is a customer obsession. You need to focus on a customer's pain and develop a solution that solves that pain in the most desirable way. Without this lens on your business, you will never succeed. It's not enough to have an idea or to think that your friends and family love what you're telling them you're going to build. You have to understand your customer and you have to solve a major pain for them in a desirable way. So the reason I decided to become a mentor at Oneday was looking back during my entrepreneurial journey, I was really fortunate to have investors and mentors in my business that had done amazing things, and they were happy to give me time and steer me in the right directions and tell me when I was going in the wrong direction sometime. And what I realized recently is I'm equipped with lots of skills and experiences that I, as a new entrepreneur, would find really valuable. So the reason to become a mentor is to really help these new founders. I'm really passionate about it, and I think you'll find that most of the mentors at Oneday, we're here to help founders. It's nothing to do with us. It's kind of just to help and really give back to that community, because I believe it's the entrepreneurs and the new businesses that they create that are going to create a sustainable future and ultimately make the world more livable. I think what makes me a good mentor is that I'm kind of always myself and genuine. I always wear my heart on my sleeve and I give honest, frank advice to my founders. So I'll never let them go too far astray if I think that something is awry, and I will always bring them back and keep them accountable to their task. I'm really fighting in the founder's corner. Like, I just want them to succeed. And I think having that combined with the skills and experiences of failure and success, and also having founded different types of businesses, from a mushroom farm to a distillery to B2B SaaS, I've got quite a wide breadth of experience. I'm dangerous enough to know what I'm good at, but I also know where my gaps are. But the good thing about Oneday is where my gaps exist, there's probably a mentor that can plug them. So that's another good thing about being a mentor at Oneday. We all have different skill sets and we can pool our resources and our skills and knowledge to make sure that the founders win. The mistake I most commonly see within my founders is, in spite of us drilling into them to have no bias in interviews when we're speaking to customers, there is always bias there. And in spite of us trying to have them narrow down on a certain specific niche customer, in their mind sometimes, well, more customers, a broader customer group means more money, more revenue. So there's this paradox between, actually, if you try and spread yourself too thin with a large customer group, you're probably not going to succeed. So sometimes starting small and being purposeful about that direction with a small customer group that's affected by a big pain will actually give you the right to then go for the big target market. But obviously, as an excitable kind of new founder, you want big market, big everything, big figures, big numbers, but you don't have the right to play in that space until you've really solved one pain for one person. And that's quite shifting thought and mentality from what you traditionally see on the Dragon's Dens. Everything's about huge market size and how big this thing can be. But we've got to go back to square one with Oneday, which is niche customer, big pain, and how do we solve for that? I tell every single person I interview and every founder that I work with, oh my God, I wish Oneday existed when I was building a business. I would have got to market quicker, cheaper, and I'd have an MBA. Yes, I would have used Oneday. I still believe it's one of the quickest, most de-risked, cost-effective ways of launching a business. I would have signed up tomorrow had I been starting my entrepreneurial journey today. A comment I get a lot when I'm speaking to my founders is, the main reason I'm at Oneday is for the mentorship. But obviously, Oneday is an MBA. So sometimes they don't really value the MBA or they don't understand why we're making them work towards an MBA. But there's a really clear answer for that. Having the structure of an MBA keeps the founders accountable. Having an endless line of meetings with a mentor on any subject that you'd like to bring up that week does not keep them accountable or any kind of critical path. And on top of that, regardless of what you think about traditional education, an MBA is very valuable in the workplace, and it's very, very valuable in terms of the types of skill sets you can pick up on top of building your business.